So we're sitting pretty through 2. 28 under going into round 3 here of the Platinum Tour. The leaders are absolutely killing it. We're sitting pretty firmly in mid-pack, which means that today we've got our work cut out for us. We're going to have to keep up the pace of 14 under if we want to give ourselves a chance to move up the leaderboard. But we got to do 14 under with some tougher conditions. Tees move back another tee box. High winds out of the southeast and firm fast. So winds are higher. Everything has firmed up a little bit. It's going to be tougher for us to get our ball to sit down and go exactly where we want it to. But I think we're up for the task. I think we're definitely up for the task. And it looks like right off the rip, everything is right on into the wind. I'm going to try and get a little bit of extra power on this. The 102 was maybe not as much power and definitely brought some of the rough into play a little bit more. But we're in the clear. All right. So even though we're into the wind, this is actually maybe a little bit more gettable than I would expect it to have been. Now, that being said, the wind is still in the face. So I have a hard time believing that this hybrid has enough legs. But 258 is going to be a tough ask. To try and knock this down another, 10 yards on the 3-wood. You start getting into some very interesting shot shaping stuff. And it's also a very tight window here, because if you don't catch this right, I mean, this is just going to drift and could roll you all the way to the back. Especially considering it's fast green, so 155s. Leaving ourselves in a little bit of a predicament early on. So I think realistically what we're going to try and do, play it out to the left-hand side here so that the wind can feed it back. Well, see, now the wind's turning on us. And if that's the case, there's the 10 yards. So I'm going to actually call an audible, and we're going to try and play this pretty quick here. Go with the 3-wood. Went a little bit deep. It's in the light rough on the backside. As long as we can get this up into here and stop it somewhere close to the hole, we can get ourselves a birdie, and that's priority number 1. So we're gonna put some shape into this to make sure that it has every opportunity to stop. Basically playing this in a way that it should get up initially. Should get up initially and have some hop, and then hopefully have some stop. Ooh, man, giving it a chance. Giving it a chance, but we will take a very easy birdie to get the scoring underway here. Very, very good. Now, downhill with wind, we're not going to be able to squeeze this 3-wood. I feel like driver is going to be a tough ask. I feel like driver is going to be a very, very tough ask to try and... you don't want to de-loft it because it's going to pick up speed on this. So you almost have to land the driver somewhere back here and have it feed its way down. So we're going to actually probably try and hit some sort of partial driver here. It's maybe not the most conventional shot for us, but I think it's one that we have to take if we want to have any sort of chance at this. Come on, be on a good line. We need the kick left, because there's a ridge here, and we're kind of in the flat of it. So we're going to need a lot of roll. It got to the right-hand side, which means it's going to pick up a left-hand turn. Come on. Keep feeding. Keep feeding. I don't know how much slope there is down towards the hole, but I guess it stops there. Well, we've left ourselves 21 feet for an eagle opportunity, which I think is pretty good. Yeah, like, in order to get any more roll back to the left there, I mean, realistically, we would have had to hit that a little bit more to the left. But that's a big ridge, so... teetering a very, very fine line here. Alright, let's take a look at this putt. See what sort of issues it's going to present to us. Alright, so I think we're going to be getting quite a bit of break, and I don't want to go too far here. That's the big thing with it. I don't want to put myself in a situation where we're rolling out the back of the green, so going to try and set this putt up for success, but ultimately don't want to throw away par for an eagle chance. Come on, need you to turn back. Oh, sit. All right, pretty good pace control. That's right down to 3 feet. That's pretty much right in the ballpark that we're shooting for. And we'll go birdie out the gate. We'll go birdie out the gate. Very solid start. 141 yards, downhill a little bit. We have a little bit of backstop to potentially work with. Fair amount of wind coming out on a diagonal here. I mean, we're going to get a little extra distance, kind of right in between clubs. We're kind of right in between clubs because we're going to get a few extra yards, probably about 3 extra yards or so off of our wedge. That wind being a little bit on a diagonal could actually help us out quite a bit here. So I think we just need to play this gap wedge on a little bit of a D-loft and feed it up while the wind is right. So 2 holes out the gate here, trying to be opportunistic on the wind. Second time, though, that we're a little bit long, get some rollback. That's going to help us quite a bit. So I do have to find myself, even though the wind is opportunistic, I can't be making decisions that quickly because we are definitely going to get ourselves into some trouble down the stretch here if we keep that up. We will capitalize. We'll absolutely capitalize. We'll 3-peat out the gate. All right, so far we're rolling. So far we're rolling. All right, so we don't have the opportunity to go up the right-hand side this time. Makes our decision-making pretty simplistic to just throw it out here down the left. So there's also a fair amount of, I would say a fair amount of green to work with. We've got this kicking us right to left in front. So I'm going to have to make sure that whatever we do, we land it over that ridge. And probably to the right-hand side, which even though that's downhill, it's a very tight window to put ourselves into an uphill putt. We're going to have to loft this. That's for certain. Is we just don't quite have enough. I mean, it's high winds. I'm not going to loft it. We're on a little bit of an uphill slope, and it's 98 to 100% lie. So we're going to take a stock gap wedge. Lie is pushing us right. So we can aim it kind of just to the right-hand side, or the left-hand side here. Everything should feed us just right. So good call not lofting it. Gonna have a little bit of a downhill putt. I mean, that's just... We knew that going into it. It's only an inch down, though, so it is definitely not the end of the world. All right, somewhere in this vicinity, I think, is going to be our play. That snapped hard. Pulled it a little bit left, but that just took off a little bit stronger. All right, not going to make them all. Not going to make all the putts. As much as we want to, that's just not realistic. Take a driver here and probably feed ourselves out into some sort of... I mean, is that a pitch shot? Would we be better off going short and leaving ourselves with a full wedge? Could have some spin. Obviously to the right is problematic. I think we cleared this just fine. So let's take the driver. We have to be able to capitalize with pitch shots. I mean, it's just the nature of it. So 64 yards uphill into wind. So it should be something that we can find a way to make this work. Wind is definitely going to play a little bit stronger. Just ball's below the feet and the wind is coming in off of that same angle. Going up a club is probably too much. But we need to make sure that we have enough. So I'm going to play this just with a little bit of D-loft. Let's just make a nice, easy pitch stroke. Just like that. Oh, B money. Woohoo, baby! Dialing one up. How about it? How about it? 663 yards. I mean, is there a situation where front pin position... Like, even if I try and extract some extra distance out of this, I don't really know how this could go well. I'm just gonna take a regular old driver. I'm not gonna try and get too fancy with it. I could try and, like, squeeze out some extra distance. We just kissed the light rough, but, like, it's 10 feet up. It's 10 feet up and we'd still have to go another 330 yards. So even if we got the driver some extra distance here, like, I think I would be probably not doing myself any favors, realistically. Because what? We can get this to go maybe 280. And then I'm looking for 60 yards up a hill. That's not great. That's not great, so... We'll play out to some fairway. Just try and give ourselves a reasonable shot coming in here. I mean, there's only so much you can do with it. I want to be able to go after every single green that I can. But that's just not how this works. Again, nice simple pitch shot. We've got some brakes on it. We've got a little bit of loft. Try and sit it down. That was fast, and I pulled it. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. All right. I messed up. I messed up. So now we're gonna have to try and bail ourselves out. It's not to say that we can't recover and score this, but we don't want to lose this out the back either. Ah. Chips are not my best. Chips are definitely not my best. Ooh, that almost didn't turn, not. That almost didn't turn. Welcome back for 70 months, or in your words, 7 years. Hope you continue to enjoy your faces. Appreciate it, man. And just thank you guys for being here in general. I really do appreciate the support. How have the rounds been? So we are 4 under through 6 at the moment. So solid. We gave up an opportunity there for a realistic birdie chance on that par 5. But I would say we're playing pretty solidly at the moment. I would say things are going pretty well so far. Now, I get concerned with this. I get greatly concerned with this. I think this is a little long. I'm going to play just a little bit of loft into this. There's a backstop, so obviously the hope is if we find that backstop, you know, the ball sits and comes back. A little bit slow. It's on a pretty good line, pretty good distance. Okay, so we dialed up the right shot there. Even if we were a little bit off on that tempo, everything about that was the right idea. Very pleased with that. All right, so we're gonna get a chance to redeem ourselves with the pitch shot, I believe. You know, and realistically, you know, it's one thing to miss those tempos like that. I have to be a little bit calmer, I think, in taking those pitch shots, but there's really no excuse for, like, the shank off to the side on top of that. Now, if we play... there's actually a situation here where this pitching wedge flop might be it. Just up the hill with full backspin. It's gonna want to play a little left, wind hold it up a little right, bounce left. That must have counted as a little bit of a pull, but look at that distance. I mean, it's exactly what we draw up. It is exactly what we're expecting to have happen there, but whoa. Stings a little bit. Does sting a little bit. All right, I want to relook at this. All right. And it just held low. We even gave it the double look, but there's just kind of that earlier part of the break just really snapped it. Really snapped it more than I was expecting it to. All right. That's okay. I mean, leave it behind. That was that hole. This is this hole, which means it is another opportunity for scoring. Now, can maybe get this out towards like here, which is not really a bounce that we necessarily want. But I think play a little bit of a draw, get a little bit of extra distance on it. Now we're landing in a spot where we can get a roll down towards the hole. So let's do that. Oh no, not pull fast. Not pull fast. It's gonna get the big kick here too. Thanks. So that's the exact same miss that we had on the pitch shot. And the wind's feeding that way, so all in all, it ends up just being like the one way that you really can't miss. So now we gotta try and make some magic happen. This is gonna get up and then be doing a lot of rolling right to left. Okay, it just did too much rolling. Just did too much rolling. We're gonna have to make this thing coming back, and it seems like it has quite a bit of break. Okay, that's big. That's big. So 5 under going out. Some missed opportunities. There were, there's 2 holes there with the shank fast that just put us well out of position. Yeah, that's gonna happen. It's not ideal. Now we fight back on the back 9. Barely noticed that your emotes weren't working because your extensions got turned off. Yeah, you would think that, just with how big of a part of the Twitch ecosystem emotes are, you would probably, think that you would notice that a little bit sooner. Hey, what's going on, Lindsay? Good day to you. Hope all is well on your end. This is a tight squeeze. So I can try and play the lob wedge, which is going to have some bite back, or this gap wedge pitch. I am kind of actually favoring the pitch shot. I think it needs to go out here, and I think it needs a little deal-off to try and get it there. But let's see if this is the right call. It's fast, but it definitely felt like a better tempo. Okay, so that was the right idea. It just doesn't get back there far enough, so we feed back down here. That's a really tough hole location. It's a really, really tough hole location. We have a chance. The problem is I'm seeing fairly flat and then the turn right at the end, which, if I'm being completely honest, scares me. Like, I feel like we're kind of in a little bit of a valley of sorts. So I don't know what we're gonna get. I'm hoping this is correct though. That's huge. That's huge. The turn has been our biggest nemesis. From like 8 to 12, something in that ballpark. That has been our absolute worst set of holes during the course of this tournament. So to pull one out on 10 there, especially after that pitch shot did not go to plan, that is big time stuff. It's going well over here, Lindsay. Thank you for asking, man. Yeah, we shot 14 under in the first 2 rounds of this tournament. 5 under on the front here in round 3. I mean, course is definitely playing longer and tougher. You know, I know that full stop. Think the 7-iron could be perfect. A little bit fast. I just needed to hang to the right. All right, a little bit extra distance on that, actually. Okay. You know what I did? I know what I did. When I was like, I took a look at it and then I recalculated some stuff and I came back to it and I played in my head that the wind was stronger. So I missed that mark by like 4 yards or so. I was wondering, okay. So I went up an extra club and did some things that I wasn't necessarily planning to do. So I'll take the L on that one. That's just a mistake on my part. Come on now! Back-to-back big old putts? Words are pictures now, Doctor? You got them just like ingrained in your head? Somebody says an emote or writes out an emote and you write the emote out in text and your brain has already translated it. Seems to toughen up through the rounds. Yeah, it seems like every round is like, okay, we're going to move back a tee box and like things are going to firm up and get faster. Seems to be the way that it's going. I don't know if we're going to get like very firm, very fast in the last round, but I think it's something in like the very high, very fast ballpark, which I'm not looking forward to just because I'm not at all experienced with that sort of green speed, you know, but all right. Lob wedge, we're going to give it plenty of D-loft, and hopefully this is the right shot. It's the right input, and it might be deep. That's okay, because it should have enough bite to hold up there. I'm just trying to prevent about being short. I don't want to be short, and I'm, pretty much just banking on having the right line into here. All right, my throat kind of dropped into my stomach or whatever the proper phrase is there for a second because I wasn't sure if we had quite gotten it on the right line. That camera angle definitely not helping me out at all. I think we should be able to take driver here. I think we should be able to take driver here. Because this should leave us in a spot where we've either got we have a wedge of some sort, whether it be a pitch or we're taking the lob wedge here with wind and backspin. I think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to be spinning this thing on back. I'm doing well, Brennan. I'm doing well, man. Yeah, we've made some adjustments to our putting game, and it's definitely paying off. Actually, hold on. Could pitching wedge pitch be the play? Just because this flight's under the wind just a little bit better. Even at distance here, a few yards short and then some rollout, like play it just... I mean, I guess you would almost still play it at it because it rolls left to right. That felt slow. Which is not ideal into this wind. Like, good thing we didn't put any brakes on it. Pitching wedge pitch, gonna roll out a little bit still. Slow is definitely not, that was not the time for the slow. That was not the time for the slow. And this is gonna be just an absolute funky, funky shot coming through here. Because it's like, how much snap is this going to have? It's downhill behind. So I'm going to have to play it... Ah, man. I should be playing this to make it, right? But... that still went too far. Yeah, I should have just... You either have to die it right at the hole or play that on the normal read. And I made adjustments. I dislike this pin. Let's just put it that way. I dislike this pin. I probably could have made that putt realistically. But... yeah, that's just kind of a weird one. Like, are you supposed to just always miss it long and have a 10-footer back up the 3-foot hill? I don't know. Kind of a weird one. Kind of a weird one. What's the difference between all the swing types, Pyro? So, normal shot that's your, like, standard shot, full swing on a club. Punch shot is going to be a shorter approach, but with a low ball flight and a lot of rollout. Pitch shot is... pitch shot is the shorter shot. I think it's like 7 iron and under. 8 iron and under. 8 iron and under. Shorter shot, not as punchy as a punch shot, but still keeps it under the wind a little bit. So it has has a little bit less spin on it, rolls a little more. Chip shot is a greenside shot. Just meant for keeping it low, rolling it out onto the green. Flop shot is high with a lot of spin, very short. Splash shot is out of the bunkers. I think that's all of them. Lindsay, knock it off, Dr. and not. Oh man, not with the big ol' heist attempt there. Jeez, man. Okay, so we gotta get this into the punch bowl. There's a little bit of slope down and back up, but you probably have to land this kind of right in there and with the spin that we want on it. I think that this stock 7 iron... Maybe with like half spin is gonna be the play. Let this drift back left to right. Although the wind's not really in the face anymore, but I still feel like with this wind, like that's gonna maybe 7 iron, still play that backspin. But I'm going to have to play the loft on it myself. Oh no, pull fast. We're just gonna hang out left and probably bleed because of that all the way into the heavy rough. Not a great shot. Not a great shot. Everything just pulled it and didn't allow for the wind to bring it back over here. Lindsay, 15-month resubscription. Thank you very, very much. Hope we continue to enjoy your faces. Too kind. Too kind. Alright, so out of the heavy rough, with this kind of lie, how do we play this shot? I think you play it first and foremost out here, but I think secondly, you know, we're playing shape on it to try and bring it back a bit. Yeah, I think we're playing it somewhere out here, and you're essentially landing it on the fairway and having it land short enough to hopefully put some bite on it. And even then, like, yeah, look at how much it rolls out. It's just not a good place to miss. It's as simple as that. That's just not a good place to be missing. Not that you ever really want to miss, but, you know, there's definitely some better places than others. Big save. Big save, though. All right. Let's try and take advantage of this par 5 if we can. All right, it's 591. I think we're gonna have to play this with the fade or the draw. Full off, full backspin to try and get the wind behind us. I'm gonna try and play a little bit of overpower on it. 105, but because we've shaped it so much, that fast is just on the very fast side. I'm gonna need that to kick back out at least, okay, at least into the light rough. That's tough though, because now we're losing some distance. So 248 and uphill. We're losing at least 10 yards. Probably landing somewhere in here, so realistically, if we can land it out to the left and get the kick and roll on, I think that's going to be our play. Well, it's definitely left. We hung that swing plane just out enough. Now we're going to be too far left. This is going to be a tough one. Fortunately, we're in the fairway, so we have the ability to stop it. We just have to be... We have to be very, very good here with actually getting this thing to stop up top. Because if we roll out the backside of the green, then we've just done ourselves an absolute disservice. But I think from here, it should be a pretty solid opportunity to go up and down. Stay. We're going to have to be careful next round. Plain and simple. We're going to have to be careful next round. Green speeds are going to get even faster, and like that same exact shot right there, we're easily off the green. It's going to be very, very scary stuff. All right, I think that this drive should be pretty safe. Kind of in that same side hill lie kind of area that we've been. But I think it's pretty safe to say this will end up fairway. Yeah, so this is going to be a very dramatic lie. I think that, like, playing the backstop here might not be a bad call. You have two options, right? We have a pitch shot, which I don't think this gap wedge pitch, even on this sort of downhill lie, I don't think that we get enough out of it roll-wise, and I don't want to take that risk. Gap wedge pitch. Gap wedge pitch, or pitching wedge pitch, actually, could be the play. It's a downhill lie, a little bit of wind. It's going to bounce and roll. I feel like it would be enough to get some roll and, like, come back. Ball is well below the feet. So let's do this. Pitching wedge pitch. Try and use this backstop to bring the ball back. Man, really going fast on these. That's okay, though. Faster greens, get up the embankment and come on down. Sit. Wow. That really picks up some speed. I mean, I guess it carried a bunch of speed into it. I suppose I am glad I didn't throw something like a lob wedge with backspin into it, because that could have ended quite poorly for us. But I would say that overall, that result, spot on. That one, though, that's not spot on. That's not spot on. Just didn't respect it enough, I suppose. Unfortunate, but it happens. Like, I want to make them all, but realistically, I'm definitely not going to make them all. But let's make this one. Let's make this one. Quite windy off the right. I think if we throw it enough out right to left, that should throw us up to that top portion of the green. All right. Let's peel in, get a good hop here. Release on up towards the hole. Okay. 10-footer, just gotta do better than the last one and actually make this. Alright, does it pass the eye test? Because I feel like that's what I have been getting in trouble with. I'm going to give it just a little bit more. Now I feel like the knucklehead. Gave it a little bit more and my initial read was right, so. Alright. So it goes. So it goes. Alright, one more to bring it home. Let's get it into double digits here. We've played pretty solid through and through. Unfortunate kick. That's really unfortunate. Wow. Alright. Out of the rough into a downhill green. So, yeah, that's not exactly what you want to have drawn up here for the end. But let's see what we can make of it. Gonna need a little bit of a miracle shot to end on. So high roll is 89 yards. If we do this, play full off, full backspin, we're gonna give ourselves a little bit better of a chance. Probably add about 5 yards onto that. 89, but I mean, we're still taking off like almost 20 yards, so let's just say that this full off, full backspin lob wedge would probably put us into the 70s, which would be short. This would be 100. Into the 90s. And then still releasing. I mean, I think that you kind of have to. All things considered, I think this sand wedge, full loft, full backspin, probably play it a little bit more right facing. You know, things are going to drift slightly that way, but there is a backstop, so theoretically you get it down there, and then that's the last line of defense. Feed us back towards the hole a little bit. We're going right at it. Pulled it a little left. Yep. And that right there is exactly what I feared. It's just, it's going to have too much roll on that slope. And being able to land it a bit shorter than that and still make it all the way down there was a tough ask. Yeah, so these are fast greens, Pyro, and I believe on next round we got to play on very fast, so there's certainly ones that you don't want to be caught out of position on. It can be very, very dangerous. All right, so we get to double digits. That was hard fought. That was hard fought. A few mistakes, a few nice shots and recoveries, just an all-around battle. So we don't get to that 14 under that obviously we would love to be at. I mean, people out here still just killing it. So people way better than I currently am, but I'm happy with the fight. To get to 10 under here, the conditions are only going to get tougher, so if we can just keep it in these double digits and keep pressing on, I'll be very, very happy with our tournament.